Good afternoon. Welcome to Chicago's 16th annual salute to Americans lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender veterans. Today's salute is under the aegis of the City of Chicago's Commission on Human Relations, Advisory Council on Veterans Affairs, and the Chicago chapter of the American Veterans for Equal Rights, AVER. We will begin our salute with the posting of colors, led by Ed Wosilis. This will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, the singing of our national anthem by Vanessa Sheridan, and a moment of silence. All who are able, please stand for the posting of colors and remain standing through the end of our opening ceremonies. Color Guard, post colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Vanessa. Let us have a moment of silence in memory of all American veterans who have gone on before us, and especially for LGBT veterans, many of whom had to serve in silence about their personal lives. Thank you. Please be seated. I am Larry Simpson, a former member of the Illinois Army National Guard. The American Veterans for Equal Rights was founded 28 years ago. We are also known by our acronym, AVER, which means to declare positively. The President Emeritus of the Chicago chapter is James Darby, who served in the U.S. Navy during the Korean conflict. Jim co-founded the Chicago chapter of AVER 26 years ago. Jim Darby.
Thank you, Larry, and welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming out for our 26th annual salute to LGBT veterans. We are one of many chapters across the country, chapters of AVER, American Veterans for Equal Rights. We started the chapter in 1992 because too many Americans were being thrown out of the military simply because they were gay. And we decided that we would do what we can to fight back and to end the don't ask, don't tell policy. So we are still going strong today, and it is 2018. I would like to introduce the people on stage. Far left, Larry Simpson, Illinois Army National Guard. Stanley Yensick, United States Navy. Bianca Torres Sullivan, wife of U.S. Marine. Bruce Inman, United States Coast Guard. Vanessa Sheridan, United States Air Force. Commissioner Mona Noriega, Commissioner of Human Relations for the City of Chicago. Dean Ogrin, former Director of International Mr. Leather. Who is it? I can't see who it is. And Edward Ozilus, United States Air Force. And I'm Jim Darby, United States Navy. And I served a long time ago during the Korean War, and I find it very interesting that the Korean War is called the Forgotten War. Well, guess what? Korea is on the front page of the paper today, and we're back to square one. Let's hope that things turn out well. And now I would like to introduce Commissioner Mona Noriega. Oh, that's right. I will stay behind you.
Good afternoon. So on behalf of the mayor, I'd like to read a proclamation that recognizes LGBT service. Whereas throughout history of America, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Americans of diverse yet convergent backgrounds have fearlessly defended the principles of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of these United States through their service in the United States Armed Forces side by side with their heterosexual counterparts. And whereas generally recognized as a catalyst for the modern gay civil rights movement, the Stonewall Uprising of 1969 sparked unified resistance to the widespread injustices faced by all in the greater LGBT community, leading to a resurgence of political, economic, and community activism to gain basic rights. And whereas in 1990, LGBT veterans formed a mutually beneficial organization now called Americans for Equal Rights, AVER, to more widely recognize the distinguished service of LGBTQ individuals for the purpose of recognizing and appreciating their distinguished military service, which led to the formation of its Chicago chapter 2 years later. And whereas celebrating its 26th anniversary this year, the Chicago chapter of AVER has remained steadfast in supporting and assisting lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender veterans in the Chicagoland area for over 25 years. And whereas while making history day in and day out, American Veterans for Equal Rights has also witnessed extraordinary cultural shifts with the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2010, allowing LGBT-identified citizens to serve openly and proudly in the United States Armed Forces. And whereas in their tireless work toward a more perfect union, affirming to all the members of the Chicago chapter of AVEER persist in giving their time, resources, and expertise to improve the lives of all veterans, bringing about the dedication of monuments to LGBTQ military service in recent years, including one of the first federally approved LGBT veterans monument on federal land at Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery in Elmwood, Illinois, and honoring military service of LGBT veterans on the corner of Halsted and Addison in the historic Lakeview neighborhood. Now, therefore, I, Rahm Emanuel, Mayor of the City of Chicago, do hereby proclaim June 13th, 2018 to be Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Veterans of America Day in Chicago, and encourage all Chicagoans to recognize and salute these outstanding veterans for their brave sacrifice and unwavering dedication to our country and ongoing contributions to the City of Chicago. Signed, Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Thank you, Mona. I am a member of the Mayor's Advisory Council on Veterans Affairs. I've been a member since 1995. We will be meeting next Wednesday, and I will try to read this when I get there. They don't usually give me a lot of time, but at least I will show it to everyone on the council. And now I would like to introduce Dean Ogrin, who will give us his rendition of America the Beautiful. A lot of people don't know about the song America the Beautiful. It was written by Catherine Lee Bates. She was a lesbian. She wrote the song for her girlfriend who was back in not sure where in the East, but she was in Colorado teaching a summer course, and she saw the mountains and the plains, and she was so impressed that she had to write this. Oh, wait a minute, where am I? Nope, sorry. It's not going to be Dean, I don't think. Our speaker today is Vanessa Sheridan. Vanessa is the Director of Transgendered Studies at the Center on Halsted. She has too many titles for me to read here. So, Vanessa? I better take a program with me.
Thank you, Jim, and good afternoon, everyone. It's pretty hard to follow and act like Jim Darby, but I'll do the best I can. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. I am honored and delighted to have this chance to talk with you today. June is Pride Month, and I want to wish all of you a happy and joyous Pride. I'm extremely proud to be a transgender veteran, and I hope you're equally proud to be who you are. We've come here today to honor and pay our respects to our LGBTQ veterans. I believe that every American citizen has a responsibility to do so. Because our people owe a debt of gratitude to these courageous veterans, many of whom were forced to serve in silence and operate in the shadows simply because of who they are. We LGBTQ veterans served because we love our country. And that service to this nation deserves the respect and appreciation of every American. LGBTQ people have been serving in the U.S. military since its very inception. Unlike a certain individual who received 5 draft deferments and managed to avoid military service due to some mysterious bone spurs that have apparently subsided enough to allow for multiple rounds of golf at taxpayer expense, we LGBTQ people have served this country with pride and distinction for a long, long time. Our presence in society is not new, nor is our record of outstanding achievement and exemplary service to the nation. As for me, I served in the U.S. Air Force, had a top-secret security clearance, worked in the intelligence field, was stationed overseas for most of my tour of duty, and was honorably discharged. Due to the social climate and the laws of that particular time, like many of us, I was unable to serve openly as my true self. It simply wasn't possible then. Now, I'm no hero, and I don't claim to be one. I'm not so arrogant as to consider myself to be heroic. Frankly, and to be totally honest, I think I'm a pretty boring person. I'm no one special, and I freely admit that. Nevertheless, I am proud of my service, and I'm grateful to have been able to offer that service to the nation that I love so much. I only wish my country would choose to love me and those like me just as much in return. I did not come here today to focus specifically on politics or to endorse any particular candidate for office. I will, however, encourage everyone to register and vote on November 6th. That's something I take very seriously as an American citizen, and I hope you do as well. I came here today to honor our LGBTQ veterans, and that's exactly what I intend to do. However, I don't believe any of us can fully honor our veterans by turning a blind eye to the current reality that is impacting our community and our nation in some highly significant ways. I probably don't have to tell you that these are complex, difficult, and politically volatile times for all of us, and perhaps especially for those of us who are members of sexual and gender minority groups. Sadly, and at this very moment, discrimination toward LGBTQ citizens, including service members and veterans, is a position that is being encouraged by the administration in Washington. Here's just one example of what I'm talking about. According to guidelines issued by the current Department of Justice, an employee of the Department of Veterans Affairs could refuse to process benefits paperwork for a widowed same-sex spouse without suffering any repercussions whatsoever. Now, actions like these are not right or fair. It's not how our country and its government should operate or treat its people. Why are there no repercussions for such obvious discrimination against same-sex couples? I'll invite you to draw your own conclusions. I'm sure you can. Today, we continue to struggle for the acceptance and respect that is due us, and nowhere, perhaps, is that difficulty more evident than in the blatant hostility and overt targeting that the current administration is demonstrating toward the transgender community. That's one of the reasons why I am so proud and honored to stand openly before you today as a transgender veteran and a proud transgender citizen, because I believe we can counter the inauthenticity of these governmental attacks through our own visibility and with the courage and decency of our lived examples of service to the nation and to each other. Many of us are aware that since July of last year, the White House has been actively working to ban transgender persons from serving in the U.S. military. The sad and frustrating thing for me about this is that every one of the reasons given for the proposed transgender military ban have been proven to be unsound and inaccurate. To be blunt, those reasons simply don't hold water and have subsequently been debunked. It is important for us to be aware of the facts rather than the propaganda or the spin. So here's the truth. The proposed transgender ban will not help our military. Instead, such discriminatory actions will only serve to weaken the military and, by extension, the country that it defends. Transgender and LGBTQ service members are good and patriotic people who love our country. Many of us want to serve in our nation's defense, and we are fully capable of doing so. I do not make the following statement lightly. To deny us the opportunity to serve is to treat us in exactly the same way Nazi Germany treated its Jewish citizens in 1935. That year, in accordance with Nazi law, the military began prohibiting Jews from joining its ranks. Those Jews already serving were dismissed from military service and denied access to the same rights as other citizens. Does any of this sound familiar? Today, we see exactly the same thing happening right here in our own country. The federal government is seeking to ban American transgender citizens who want to serve in our military. Not because they can't do the job, but simply because of who they are. That, my friends, is un-American, and it's why I ask you to consider this. Those who do not remember history are doomed to repeat it. With all this in mind, I do not want to solely be a purveyor of doom and gloom here today. Despite these difficult circumstances, we will win in the end because love always does. We as a nation still have much for which to be extremely grateful. I am truly humbled when I look around me and I see the remarkable LGBTQ veterans who have come here to be part of this meaningful event. These are some of America's best human beings, citizens, and defenders. They deserve our thanks and our respect for their many contributions to the defense of our country, and that, my friends, is what today is all about. Not politics, not divisive actions, but wonderful Americans who exemplify and embody the very best that our nation has to offer. I'm humbled to be in their company and in their presence. I encourage all of us to be mindful of what these amazing people have done for us. Please be sure to give them your gratitude and to honor their sacrifices, and make sure to tell them thank you. They deserve to hear that. They earned it. In closing, I deeply believe that personal authenticity is the key to a fulfilling life of integrity. That's why I am so very proud to stand before you today as a transgender veteran. For me, that is part of living my life as in an authentic manner. I look forward to the day when every person can live authentically and without fear. I'm deeply grateful to all of you for being here today and for giving me the great honor of addressing you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. And now we would like to have Edward Wazilus. No, I'm sorry, I mixed it up again. Now we would like to have Dean Ogrin grace us with America the Beautiful.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrims' feet, whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare for freedom's beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul with self-control, thy liberty in law. Oh, beautiful for patriot streams that see beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears.
Thanks, Dean. That was beautiful. I'm sure Catherine Lee Bates is smiling from the grave. And now, Mr. Ed Wuzilus, U.S. Air Force, will retrieve the colors. And now, if everyone will join us, we are going to do a wreath-laying ceremony. We line up over here, and we go out that door over there, and there is an eternal flame burning for all veterans at the far end of the plaza, and our color guard will march out to the eternal flame.